thought it'd be appropriate to wear my Italia hat for this video. Let's go! In my last video, I mentioned that I'm of Italian background. So I thought for this week, what I'd do is I'd go into detail. Alright, so for starters, no, I am not a member of the Mafia. Nobody in my family has ever been a part of the Mafia, ever. But speaking of family, it's a very important part of growing up Italian. Every single Sunday, you have to eat lunch with your family. No matter what, you make it every single Sunday. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, that seems pretty normal. I eat with my family every day. But no, I'm not talking about you eating with your mom and your dad and your sister or brother, whatever. No, I mean you eat with everybody. Now, growing up in an Italian household is interesting. An Italian house is very, very different from any other. Now, as soon as you walk in, you'll be able to tell right away because you'll probably smell somebody frying something. And it probably stinks. Don't you dare walk into that house with your shoes on because somebody probably just cleaned it with bleach and vinegar or some weird smelling shit. Now once you walk in, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, what's with all these pictures of these random old guys hanging on the walls? Those are saints. Saint Michael. But most importantly, San Padre Pio. This guy is in every single Italian household multiple times. He's on the walls, he's framed on the tables, he's hanging on the fridge, he's probably in the fridge too. He's everywhere. Speaking of inside the fridge, never attempt to go into an Italian fridge by yourself. You'll probably find about 15 tubs of butter, and none of them have butter in them. Everything has something else. Seriously, they're almost exclusively for everything except for butter. I bet I can go into my fridge right now and I'll find a tub of butter that doesn't have... Actually, you know what? Hold on. Okay. This is... Wow. This is the tub of butter. Let's open it. Does that look like butter to you? What is this? Minion cookies. If you have to go to the washroom in an Italian house, be careful because there's probably a set of towels that nobody is supposed to use. They're just there for show. Now, if you go down to the basement, you'll probably think to yourself, whose house is this? Because it's like a whole different house down there. That's because whatever there was upstairs, there's one downstairs. Except nobody uses it. The only thing that Italians do use in their basement, of course, is the cantina. The cantina, or the cellar, is where anybody wants to go if there's ever a zombie apocalypse. You could probably survive down there for years. But when you're leaving an Italian house, the one thing you have to make sure is that you leave a light on so that the neighbors will think that somebody's home. Don't ask me why. It's just something that we do. I don't know. One thing that we as Italians have that nobody else can ever say that they have are nonnas. Nonnas are the greatest thing to ever happen to the world. Now, when you go to your nonna's house, you have to be very prepared, alright? Right when you walk in, you'll probably find your nonna talking to some lady on the phone that you've never met in your life before. And her name is probably Concetta. And she's definitely not using an inside voice. Nonnas don't have an inside voice when they're on the phone. The way it works for nonnas when they're on the phone is the farther away the person that they're talking to is, the louder they're gonna scream into this damn phone. So if she's calling somebody back home in Italy long distance, you better have brought your earplugs because the people down the street over there are gonna hear it too. And of course, you better be hungry because your nonna probably woke up at like 5 a.m. this morning and started cooking you a 10-course meal for lunch. Because that's just what they do regularly. They spend their whole day in the kitchen cooking with that little radio that only gets one station in Italian. God forbid you change it. And you never, ever tell a nonna that you're not hungry or you refuse her food. That's the most insulting thing you can do. You may as well punch a baby square in the face, just like, knock that. But there's one thing I have noticed that nonnas aren't that good at cooking. Breakfast. Every time I watch my nonna make breakfast, it always involves her dunking something in a coffee. Here's a word of advice. Never ask your nonna if she has any cereal. Every type of cereal to a nonna is Cheerios. And then when she actually has Cheerios, those are cornflakes. You never, ever, ever disrespect your nonna. Because if you do, just know that you're getting that wooden spoon. If you spend a day at your nonna's, you're almost sure to encounter a wooden spoon at some point, and it's gonna ruin your entire life. Getting hit with a wooden spoon on the back of the leg, oh my. They keep it tucked into their aprons at all times. They just pull that shit out at a moment's notice. But you can't forget about nonnos. Your nonno is the guy who you watch The Price is Right with every day at your nonna's house while she's cooking lunch in the kitchen. See, nonnos always have this next level garden in their backyard that could probably qualify as a mini farm. I swear, one year I went into my nonno's garden and I saw a watermelon and a cantaloupe. In the summer, your nonno's backyard is where you do the most Italian thing of all time. It's where you make some of this. By the way, this is not gravy. This is not marinara sauce. This is sugo. Sugo. Don't forget it. I can't believe there's some people out here that call this gravy. This is gravy. Now, your nonno probably went to the grocery store and bought about 3,000 bushels of tomatoes, and he's been preparing them in the garage for weeks. I used to call the seeds and all the gooey stuff inside tomato boogers. So when it came time to do tomatoes, it would be my job to get rid of all the tomato boogers because I hated them. They're gross. But you'll do whatever it takes to have your nonni's tomato sauce for another year. That's pretty much what it's like to grow up Italian. Lots of food, lots of family, lots of time spent with your nonnies, and lots of tomato sauce. But you would never trade it for anything else. That's all from me for now. Be sure to like and subscribe down there, and I'll see you next time. Peace. So, I have my Apple TV going on in the background. These pictures are distracting. Growing up, please help me. Now you're probably thinking to yourself when you watch. Now what? Okay. Next. Oh fuck! Can't do it.